Welcome to Tech Diet. Let's dive into today's problem. Minimum absolute difference between the elements with constraint. It says we are given 0 index integer array nums and an integer x. Find the minimum absolute difference between the two elements in the array that are at least x indices apart. So let's simulate this example to understand the question. So we are given this 4324 x is 2. So to find the distances that are x distance apart, so for this 4, the x distance apart bracket is this 2 and 4. So and the corresponding for this 3 bracket we have the remaining as 4. So the absolute difference between these two from the minimum bracket is 0. 4 and 4, 4 and 2 is 2, and 4 and 4 is 0. The minimum out of them is 0. 3 and 4, the minimum out of them is 3, and the overall minimum is 0. So we'll return 0. So yeah, so that's what we are doing. We'll start from that particular x and we'll keep on having our corresponding list, and we need not to calculate for each difference. We can just calculate the corresponding nearest element for this 4. So we need to find the nearest element for that particular index, and by algorithm we know that is your something called as the lower bound or the upper bound. So we can calculate them and have the difference. So we need not to evaluate for whole of the series. Similarly for this particular, then we'll remove this element 2 and we'll proceed ahead. So yeah, that's the way you first create your tree set or any other data structure, and then you can have the corresponding removals in place, or maybe we can do it the otherwise where we'll start it from the backwards and we'll keep on having our tree set initialized. So yeah, let's try the backwards approach. So let's say how from where we'll start from the last index minus x. So let's say I'm at 1 2 3 4 elements minus 1, which is 3, 3 minus 2, which is 1 0 1. So I'm standing at this index 1, so that is my I, and the remaining bracket is my tree set, right? So let's give my start as I, and then I can say I should be positive, and we'll be decrementing, we are iterating it backwards, and then I'll have a corresponding uh, the j pointer which will be at position of the last index. So we'll have it at 4, that is my tree set. So let's create a corresponding tree set of integers. Tree set is equal to new tree set. We can initialize it like tree set dot add. We can add our jth element. What's that current element in my set? And then we can decrement j as well. And at this stage we need to evaluate what is my current element. So this is my current element I, and I need to calculate difference here. Let's initialize it as max value, and then we can say for the difference will be the minimum of the lower bound and upper bound, right? So let's have a lower bound. From tree set we can have the corresponding method floor, which will give for that particular element what is the floor, and let's have the upper bound as well, which will say for this tree set what is the ceiling. And then if my lower, so there could be an element which is neither lower nor upper, or the lower is missing or the upper is missing. So we can have the corresponding checks here. If lower is not equal to null, I can calculate the difference between them, the absolute difference between this. um, so since this is lower, I can just calculate something like element minus lower, and math dot minimum of difference and this lower. Similarly, I can say if my upper is not null, so the difference will shift from upper minus this corresponding element, and then we'll keep track of what is my overall minimum so far. So this is my overall minimum. Let's have this initialized as well, and your overall minimum is this, and let's return this overall minimum. Let's run this. Okay, it's integer dot max value. So we are expected 0, we are returning always the maximum that. Okay, let's check. We are adding it to a tree set, getting the difference, computing lower and upper. Okay, the overall minimum is never initialized. Uh, so we are not updating that value. Let's try to run it. Okay, this looks working. Let's run it for this corresponding test case. Okay, let's hit submit. Yep, that's working. Thank you.